My fingers went numb as I watched the numbers change in real time on my banking app. The mortgage payment I'd just submitted, $4,847, vanished from my account. But the notification that popped up made my vision blur. Payment declined. Account access restricted by primary account holder. I pressed refresh 3 times, certain it was a glitch. The same message appeared. In the background, my phone was buzzing with a FaceTime call from Mom. Her face filled the screen, that practiced smile she wore when delivering bad news wrapped in politeness. "Honey, we need to talk about the house situation. We've decided to handle the payments ourselves from now on." Her voice was syrup sweet, but her eyes were hard. "We changed the bank account access. Family meeting tonight. Don't be late." The call ended before I could respond. I stared at my reflection in the black screen, seeing a fool who'd been paying someone else's mortgage for 4 years. My name is Hannah, I'm 32, and I'm a tax accountant. This is the story of how I learned that family loyalty has an expiration date, usually right after the last payment clears. For 4 years, I'd been the family's financial safety net. It started small, help with property taxes after Dad's hours got cut, then the mortgage when Mom's credit couldn't handle the refinance. Just temporary, she'd promised, the same word she used every month when I transferred another $5,000. My sister Brooke perfected the art of emergency expenses. 2 kids, endless crises, and a husband who treated work like a suggestion. Every few weeks, another SOS text. Kids need school supplies, or car broke down, or daycare won't take Isabella without updated shots. I'd gotten so efficient at wiring money that my bank app had her account saved as a favorite. Mom called it keeping the family together. Dad called it doing what families do. I called it bleeding money for people who'd stopped saying thank you 3 years ago. The house had become theirs in everything but legal paperwork. They chose the paint colors, planned the renovations, hosted holidays. I paid the bills and got invited like a guest. When relatives asked about their beautiful home, Mom would beam and talk about smart financial decisions and family teamwork. My name never came up. But yesterday morning changed everything. I was reviewing my quarterly taxes when I noticed something that made my coffee go cold. A credit inquiry from last month, one I'd never authorized. When I called the credit monitoring service to investigate, the representative cheerfully explained that Robert and Beth Harrison had listed me as a co-signer for a $35,000 home equity loan. "They said you were aware of the application. The funds were disbursed last Tuesday." My parents had used my credit without asking, used my financial stability to borrow against a house I'd been paying for. The paperwork would arrive in a few days, she said, standard procedure. That night, I drove to the house, my house, according to the mortgage company, and parked across the street. Through the kitchen window, I watched them cooking dinner, laughing at something on Mom's phone. They looked relaxed, content, like people who'd just solved a big problem. I walked to the mailbox and used my key, the same spare key they'd given me years earlier when I first started helping with the house payments. Inside, mixed with catalogs and bills, was a thick envelope from Harbor Point Construction, a contract for a $40,000 kitchen renovation, scheduled to begin next month. The customer signature line showed my mother's careful cursive. They were spending my money before they'd officially stolen it. Walking back to my car, I heard their voices drifting through the open window. From my position on the sidewalk, just close enough to hear clearly, Mom's tone was bright, excited. "The contractors start Monday. Hannah's loan made it all possible." "She doesn't know yet, right?" Brooke's voice, worried but not guilty. Dad chuckled. "What she doesn't know won't hurt her. Besides, her credit score can handle it. Ours couldn't." "It's not like she needs the money anyway," Mom added. "She doesn't have kids or a mortgage of her own. This is what single people with good jobs should do. Help family." Brooke laughed. "She's basically our personal bank at this point." I stood frozen on their sidewalk, my sidewalk technically, listening to them discuss my financial life like I was a resource they'd discovered, not a person they loved. The worst part wasn't the betrayal. It was how comfortable they sounded, how natural this conversation felt to them. That's when I realized they'd been having versions of this conversation for years. I didn't sleep that night. Instead, I sat at my kitchen table with my laptop, a legal pad, and 4 years of banking statements. By sunrise, I had a complete audit. Mortgage payments, property taxes, insurance, repairs, Brooke's emergencies, Dad's medical bills, Mom's car payment. The total was $347,892, almost $350,000, enough for a house of my own, a wedding, a future I'd sacrifice to keep theirs comfortable. At 8 a.m., I called my bank and placed a fraud alert on all accounts. Then I called a lawyer. By noon, I had copies of the forged loan documents and a cease and desist letter ready for delivery, but I didn't send it yet. I wanted them to feel what I'd felt, the ground shifting beneath their feet without warning. Instead, I did something simpler. I changed my phone number and didn't tell them. For 3 days, I let their calls go to a disconnected line while I planned my next move. On Thursday, the first late notice arrived at their house. I know because I still got copies as the account's original signer. Friday brought 2 more notices and a call from the bank's collections department. By Saturday morning, Mom was knocking on my apartment door. "Hannah, thank God, your phone's been acting up. We need to talk about the mortgage. There's been some kind of mix-up." She looked genuinely confused, like someone who'd never considered that money might stop flowing without explanation. I let her stand in my doorway for 30 seconds before responding. "No mix-up. I stopped the payments." Her face shifted from confusion to irritation. "Honey, that's not how this works. We had an agreement." "Actually, we didn't. I have a copy of our text messages, all 4 years of them. Nowhere do I agree to pay indefinitely while you take out loans in my name." Color drained from her face. "You know about the equity line?" "I know about everything. The question is, did you think I'd never find out, or did you just not care?" She pushed past me into my apartment, settling on my couch like she belonged there. "You're being dramatic. Family helps family. That money was just sitting in your account anyway." "My money in my account that I earned. Money you wouldn't have without the values we taught you." Her voice took on that familiar edge, the one that used to make me apologize for being upset. "We raised you better than this selfishness?" I sat across from her, amazed at how calm I felt. "You raised me to be useful. There's a difference." "The house is going into foreclosure without those payments. Is that what you want, to destroy your family over money?" "I want you to explain how you forged my signature on a loan application." Silence. Then quietly, "Your father needed the surgery. Insurance wouldn't cover the specialist." "Dad's surgery was 8 months ago. The loan was taken out 3 weeks ago, and the money went toward a kitchen renovation. Try again." Her mask slipped completely. "Fine. We used it for improvements. The house needed updating and your credit was available. We'll pay you back." "With what money? You haven't made a payment on anything in 4 years." She stood up, smoothing her jacket. "This conversation is over. You can punish us all you want, but that house belongs to this family. We're not losing it because you're having some kind of breakdown." "Actually," I said, opening my laptop, "the house belongs to whoever's name is on the deed. Would you like to see the ownership transfer documents I filed yesterday?" Her face went white. "You can't do that." "I can. The mortgage was in my name. The payments came from my account, and I have documentation of financial fraud. My lawyer says it's the cleanest case he's seen in 20 years. Mom grabbed her purse, hands shaking. "Your father will never forgive you for this." "My father can call me when he's ready to apologize. You both can, but not before." She left without another word. Through my window, I watched her sit in her car for 10 minutes, probably calling Dad, probably crying. For a moment, I felt the old urge to run after her, to smooth things over, to be the daughter who fixed problems instead of creating them. Instead, I made tea and opened my laptop. I had a life to rebuild. The legal process took 6 weeks. During that time, my phone stayed quiet. No emergency texts from Brooke, no cheerful check-ins from Mom, no sports updates from Dad. The silence felt strange at first, then liberating. I realized how much mental energy I'd been spending on their problems, their needs, their version of family. On a Tuesday in October, the final papers arrived. The house was officially mine. The equity loan was legally void due to fraud. My parents had 30 days to vacate or negotiate a rental agreement. They chose to move in with Brooke. I sold the house within a month. The buyer was a young couple with twin toddlers who fell in love with the updated kitchen, the one my parents had renovated with my stolen money. The irony felt like justice. The sale covered my 4 years of payments plus legal fees. What remained was enough for a down payment on my own place, a small house near the lake with a garden and no history of betrayal. 3 months after the sale, I ran into my father at the grocery store. He looked older, grayer, like someone carrying weight he wasn't used to. We stood in the cereal aisle, neither speaking, until he cleared his throat. "The house sold." "Yes." "Your mother's not doing well. She cries every day, but we're managing. The move to Brooks has been an adjustment for everyone, but her marriage is holding up under the stress." I felt something twist in my chest, but it wasn't guilt anymore. It was sadness. For her, for him, for what we'd lost that had never really existed. "I'm sorry she's hurting," I said, "but I'm not sorry for protecting myself." He nodded slowly. "The loan thing, that was wrong. We knew it was wrong. My lawyer advised against pressing charges, said we'd learned our lesson the hard way." "Then why did you do it?" "Because it was easy. You always said yes. We stopped thinking of it as asking and started thinking of it as automatic. The honesty hurt more than any lie could have. I wasn't automatic. I was your daughter." I know that now." We parted ways at the checkout line. He didn't ask for my new address or phone number. Somehow, that felt like progress. 6 months later, Brooke sent a friend request on Facebook. I accepted it, but didn't message her directly. Sometimes I see her posts about family game nights and holiday dinners, and while she never mentions missing me, she stopped posting about money problems and seems to be managing with Mom and Dad as permanent housemates. Mom sent a birthday card to my old apartment. It was forwarded to my new address with a note inside. "I hope you're happy." No apology, no explanation, just 5 words that somehow said everything. I am happy. Not because I won or because they lost, but because I learned the difference between being needed and being valued. Family isn't supposed to feel like a subscription service where love depends on monthly payments. My new house has a front porch where I drink coffee in the mornings. The neighbors wave when they walk their dogs. My bank account stays stable because no one has access but me. The silence isn't empty anymore. It's peaceful. Sometimes people ask if I miss them. The honest answer is complicated. I miss the idea of them, the family I thought we were. But I don't miss the version we actually were. The one where my worth was measured in wire transfers and my boundaries were suggestions. I learned that some relationships survive because of love and others survive because of habit. The difference becomes clear when you stop funding the habit. If you've ever felt like a human ATM for people who claim to love you, know this. Your value isn't your usefulness. Real family doesn't come with monthly fees. And sometimes the most loving thing you can do is stop paying for people who refuse to appreciate the cost. Set your boundaries, protect your future, and remember, you can't buy love, but you can definitely stop renting it. Before you go, here's a quick bonus for sticking around. If you love learning and growing like I do, you need to try audiobooks. I've got an exclusive deal with Audible. Your first month is completely free. That's access to over 500,000 titles. 0 cost to you. All the details are waiting in the description. Don't miss this one.